Hey everyone, Nicole here. Still got this baby in me. I'm 40 weeks, 2 days, and I thought I would make a little video about my birth plan. I've had this ready for a few weeks now. I want to preface this by saying everybody's different. Everybody's life looks different. Everybody's going to need different things depending on your environment, what your health looks like, so many different factors. And so I'm going to share with you what I want for myself, what I feel like is going to work for me and my family, and just all of the environmental and situational things that align for me. So that might look very different for you. So keep that in mind. You don't want to always copy and paste what someone else is doing. You've got to really look at all the factors that go into your individual needs and the individual needs of your family and your child. So I'm going to go through my birth plan to give you some ideas. And if that's something you're interested in, stick around and let's get into it. All right, so I'm going to be looking down because I got my computer here in front of me. And also, I just want to let you know, I do have this birth plan up on my Etsy account as a downloadable. I also have a whole birth bundle, if you will, of different things like the hospital bag packing list and birthing affirmations and all that good stuff. So it's just a little purchase link and you can download it, and it will also bring it up where you can edit it. So that's good too, because not everybody's going to want every single thing on this birth plan. So it's an editable version of it, so you can plug in more things that you want, or you can delete things that you don't want and add things you want. So that's really cool. But it gives you a good base. And I should also, sorry, I'm so out of breath. I'm so pregnant right now. Like, I don't know if you see. I got this belly. Holy macaroni. I'm so out of breath. But I should also preface this by saying this birth plan is a highly, how should I say, it's geared towards natural birth and very holistic. So if that's not something that you're wanting, then this might not be the birth plan for you. But a lot of these items are all very holistic, natural, geared towards. All right. Or just take what you want, leave the rest at the door. This is not going to be about, controversy or arguing with anyone. Again, everybody has to do what's right by their family, and it looks different for everybody depending on your situation. So let's get into it. All right, so we're going to have sections, I guess, if you will. The first section would be environment. And so I'm having my birth at a hospital, so it's important that you know that you can control your environment even if you're at the hospital. You don't have to be at home or in a birth center to make it cozy, if you will. I know that you can only do so much at a hospital compared to if you were at your home, but you can request a lot of different things and you can bring a lot of different things. So just be prepared for that. You can bring them in your hospital bag with you. I'm blessed to be having a doula. They told me that they're going to bring tea lights and cozy lighting, and that they're going to help prepare the room for me to just be more comfortable. So in my birth plan, I put keep lights dim and voices soft when possible. Soft music. So my doula is also bringing a speaker. I created a birthing playlist. I have different playlists. So I have one that's more calming Christian music. I have one that's oldies and more uplifting. Just kind of different vibes depending, because who knows what I'm going to be feeling. I'll probably be switching it up. I have birthing affirmation and more meditative music. So that always sets the vibe. Music I think is important, because if you do more relaxing music, your heart actually syncs up with the music. So you don't want to be doing heavy metal. If you have relaxing music, it's going to just help create a peaceful environment. So I'm also requesting minimal staff, no medical students, no observers. That's important because if you don't notate that, sometimes they do bring students in to observe you. This is my first birth. I don't want to be like an animal in a cage where someone's observing me. Maybe I would allow that if it was my second or third child, because I'm all for people learning to do their thing, but I'm like, this is my first time. I don't need any extra. So I put no medical students, no observers. I'll be wearing my own laboring gown. I'm bringing that, so I notated that. I don't want any prior energies from anybody else from the hospital gowns. Plus, can you imagine the chemicals that they wash those clothes in? They for sure have to bleach the crap out of those to make sure they're clean, so I just don't want to wear that. Also, I want to feel as comfortable as possible, and the laboring gown that I got was from Kindred Bravely, and it is so soft and just so lovely. I also got their maternity robe. Limited interruptions, minimal cervical checks. This could just help in the sense that, and I feel like my doctor is more in agreement to this anyways, because she's very like natural labor focused. You don't want to do too many cervical checks because that actually opens up more opportunity for infections because they're constantly getting in there. We'll be diffusing essential oils, so that's another thing my doula is bringing is the oil diffuser. Allow doula to guide positions. Ability to labor in position of choosing. I do not want to be on my back, which again, I've already set that up to have my doulas and stuff. They don't really believe in just laboring on your back the whole time. And I was thinking about this the other night. That doesn't even make sense. It doesn't make sense to labor on your back. The whole time during pregnancy, they tell you about like optimal blood flow and to always be on your side, and even towards later pregnancy when you're sleeping to have your legs high up so the baby can engage. Why in the most important part, it's go time, you need baby to be engaging deep into your pelvis, and then you're going to be on your back? First of all, that restricts the blood flow because the baby is sitting on that, whatever that is, vein or whatever. I forget what it's called, but it's cutting off circulation and blood flow to the baby and to you. And also, the way that you're positioned is not optimal for the baby to engage. Just gravity-wise, it makes no sense. So anyways, ability to labor in position of choosing, freedom of movement, because it's also important for you not to be laboring in the same exact position for the whole entire time. It's important to get into different positions because as you get into different positions, the baby is moving its way and it's going to need different things, different positioning to be able to move down in the way that it's supposed to. So that's environment. So monitoring medication. My goal is to do no pain medicines unless I request it. I don't want anybody to suggest it unless I request it. Specifically, my goal is to do none. I prefer intermittent monitoring. I don't want the baby to constantly be hooked up. And again, the reason why I said in the beginning, all of this depends on you and your situation. I'm a low risk pregnancy. I've had no problems my whole pregnancy. Baby has been good every single time. The last few stress tests and monitoring, he's been good. So this is going to look different for everyone. This is why I'm requesting this. If I was a high risk pregnancy, all of this would be so different. So keep that in mind for yourself. I don't want constant monitoring because I feel like that can cause a little more anxiety, and I want to try to stay in a peaceful state of mind. And as long as he's good every time we check him, I don't want to be constantly monitored. I'm going to choose to not have an IV or port unless it's medically necessary, only because sometimes that can inhibit the movement, my ability to be able to move around the room and be in certain positions. So I'm saying no to that unless something happens and it's medically necessary. No induction. I don't want Pitocin or any of that. You could do your research more into Pitocin, but I'm actually scared. I would be very scared to get that because a lot of the time once you introduce Pitocin, which is artificial oxytocin, it can actually make your contractions more painful. So when you have contractions and you're laboring, it's kind of like a wave. So it'll peak, you'll have your contraction, and then you'll have time to like chill, and then it will peak, and then it will, so it goes like this. Whereas Pitocin actually makes the part where when you're having contractions last longer. So instead of these rolling hills, you'll get these plateaus. So it'll go up and then like this and then down. So it actually makes your labor harder. So because of that, a lot of the time women will have a more painful labor, and it will cause them to tense up more. It will cause, I don't want to say it will, but a lot of the time, this is how it goes, is it will prolong their labor, and then they will end up asking for a epidural, and then the epidural makes the labor go longer. And then it's a usual case that they say, oh, you're not progressing, this is taking too long, we're worried about the baby, the heart rate, and then it will lead to a C-section. Now, again, that's not always the case, but typically once you introduce one intervention, there's usually a trickle of other interventions because your body is being forced to do something by introduction of artificial substances, basically. So I don't want that. I know that it's not always going to be what I want. It might not go to plan, but that is my intention for this birth. So leading into that, this is what I have listed on my preferred pain management. So bath or shower. In my hospital specifically, they do have a laboring tub and a shower, so that helps. TENS unit, which I have linked in my Amazon storefront, but that is something that the doula is also bringing. They're almost like these little electrode things that go on your back, and I think it works with nerves on your back to, I don't know how the science behind it, but it's supposed to naturally help decrease the pain. Breathing techniques through hypnobirthing and meditation, movement, counter pressure, so that's one thing that the doulas will be helping with, and my husband doing counter pressure techniques and things like that. Movement being like the positioning. Hypnobirthing, which just goes in with like mind meditations, breathing. I'm going to have my birthing affirmations posted, which I also have as a download if you want that as well. Massage, movement, changing positions, heat cold therapy. So you could always do cold therapy with, I think that's something that they're bringing too, is a cold pack, but I'm also bringing a heating pad. So during birth, going into our next section, during birth, I want to avoid forceps and vacuum. I've just heard really terrible things about forceps. Actually, Scott feels very strongly about that. My husband, he feels very strongly about that too, just because he has an uncle who got really messed up from them using forceps when he was pulled out of the womb. I'd probably do a C-section before I would do forceps. It could just cause a lot of issues if it goes wrong. No episiotomy. I don't know how to actually say that word. Without my informed consent. That's basically where they cut you. So like a lot of women, they might tear naturally. Sometimes they say that the baby can't get out for some sort of reason, and they will make a cut. I really don't want that. Oh my gosh, my dogs are grumbling at me because I had some food. I don't want that, unless it's absolutely medically necessary. But what I do want is measures that support gradual stretching of the perineum, no oxytocin, pitocin for placenta delivery. I don't want them to wipe off the vernix or bathe the baby right after. One, it's really good for their skin, for it to stay on for as long as possible because it just seeps in, it's natural, and it just helps nourish their skin because their skin is so sensitive. Also, it really helps with bonding. So I would like to get my baby right away. I don't want the baby taken away. I want that golden hour. And so there's something with, one, helps his skin, but two, it keeps that smell of where he was in the womb also just like, because then it will be on me, it'll be on him. So it really helps with the bonding and him attaching and understanding, oh, this is a safe space. So I don't want them vigorously rubbing anything off or taking him away to bathe him right away. I just want him to stay in that. I'd like to assist in catching my baby, so I'm hoping that will be a thing. But placenta delivered naturally without pulling. I would like to breathe the baby down. I prefer spontaneous pushing, and so that's that section. Next section, I just added this on here of birth positions preferred. And so we'll have a birth ball, which the doula is bringing. Birth ball, bath, on all fours, squatting, on side, on bed, birth stool, and standing. So it's kind of cool. If I was doing this in the birthing center that they have, my OB, they have a birth stool, but because it's at a hospital, I have to request from the doula to bring this low up birth stool. But it's kind of cool because it allows you to get in the squatting position where you can really open up your hips, but you're sitting down. So it's like an assisted squat, which is, I think, cool. And I feel like that's something that I will feel, a position that will feel really good to me, just because I have really enjoyed doing that actually at home with a stool that I have. So page 2, this is where it can get a little controversial. So again, not here to argue or debate anybody. Noticed I have a bug in my drink. I'm gonna get that out. That's disgusting. This is just what I want for my family and my child. And again, my lifestyle, being a nutritionist, you know, we're in Arizona, we're in a healthy place. The way that I think that I provide natural remedies and things like that, it lines up with how I want this to go down. So it might look different for you, and that's okay. This is okay. All right, so newborn care. Rooming in for our baby unless medically necessary, meaning I don't want the baby to be away and sleeping somewhere else. I want our baby to be in our eyesight the entire time. I do not want it to be out of our eyesight at all. Baby should not be bathed during the hospital stay unless medically necessary. So again, keeping that vernix on. For the hepatitis B vaccine, we are declining that one because I tested negative for Hep B. It's not necessary. Eye ointment, I also am going to be declining because I do not have any of those STDs down there. Been tested for that. It's all negative. So that is unnecessary for the baby to get that. Vitamin K, I am declining that, but I am opting for oral drops. So I will be bringing that to the hospital. I've done my research on the drops and the drops that I've gotten. I got the ones from Dr. Green Mom. I really like her. She's very, I don't know if she considers herself vaccine neutral, but she does a very good job at laying out all of the studies and evidence on things, and she doesn't lean one way extreme on the other. She'll tell you what the vaccines that she thinks are necessary and the ones that she doesn't. So anyways, she has these vitamin K drops, and there's a whole Denmark study shown, and so that's kind of what she goes based on the dosing. And if you look into it, most countries give you an option between vitamin K shot and drops, and the US is one that really pushes just to do the shot. So anyways, that's that. I have a playlist that is about vaccine information, and so she has a couple podcasts that are really interesting that you can check out. No pacifiers unless requested by parents. I'm not going to introduce a pacifier right away because that can hinder breastfeeding. Breastfeeding preferred. No supplementation. We do consent to required newborn screening tests and request they be performed with comfort measures. So they usually will do a heel prick to just do a little screen test of making sure baby's good, and they check all these things. But again, I don't want the baby out of our sight. I want them to do that heel prick while I'm holding him and he's comfortable. Basically, I'm trying to create a situation where it's not traumatic for the baby. Circumcision, we will not be doing that at the hospital. but we will be doing it 8 days later with my OB. So I'm declining that at the hospital. So newborn hearing screening, that's pretty basic. We consented to that. But I want to perform when baby is calm and with us. Temperature regulation, skin to skin preferred. And then after birth, I want to delay any newborn checks if medically safe. Obviously, if there's something crazy happening with the baby, that'll be quite different. But if everything goes to plan, then I want to delay the newborn checks because that goes into the next item of I want golden hour, which is uninterrupted skin to skin for at least 60 minutes. So that's important for bonding. It's important to help with breastfeeding and all of that. So get that good oxytocin flowing. I prefer for baby to be in sight of mom or dad at all times. Partner may assist with skin to skin if mother is unavailable. So if for some reason something happens to me or have to get C-section or anything, my husband will step in and do the skin to skin if I can't. I'd like to breastfeed 1 to 2 hours of birth, within 1 to 2 hours of birth. Hopefully that will work out. Partner, he says he wants to cut the cord. We'll see when we get there. But partner will cut baby's cord after delay. We want to do delayed cord clamping until white or the pulsations stop. So you want to make sure that you're getting all of the good stem cells to your baby. It's got a lot of important stuff. So you don't want to do early cord clamping. There's a lot of conspiracy on why they don't do that and keep a lot of the stem cells and take your placenta away from you very quickly. Let you go down that rabbit hole yourself. But we want all that good stuff to go into our baby and not be sold. Baby may be placed skin while the cord remains intact. And because I know that life doesn't always go as planned, this is a little section that's in case of C-section, which I'm hoping doesn't have to happen, but you never know what might happen. So in case of C-section, informed consent, no sedations. I want to be awake while it's happening. Immediate skin to skin, so even though I'll be cut open, I want my baby right away. I do not want them to take them away. Same things as vaginal birth. I don't want them to wipe the vernix off or bathe the baby. Delayed cord clamping until white or pulsation stop. I want to clear a lower drape so I can see what's going on and see him come out. I want still a calm, low stimulus environment if possible. I want my partner present at all time. Delayed weight of baby. Prioritize golden hour, partner skin to skin if I'm not available for some reason. And support for early breastfeeding or breast call. And at the end of this, I do add a flexibility clause that just states we request that this birth plan be followed as written. Intervention should occur only when there is a clear medical necessity or emergency affecting the safety of the mother or the baby. That was a lot. So, sorry if you can hear my dog grumble. Again, she's 18. You've probably heard her in other videos. She wants my sandwich. That's right by me. So, anyways, that's what I have. I hope it was helpful. You can write all of this down. Or again, I have this in a printable. You can print it all as is, or you can edit the document to have exactly what you want in it. Also, I should notate at the top of it, I'll show you too. I have a little section where you fill out your name, your birth partner, your OB or your midwife. And then there's like care and communication preferences. So if you don't know what that is, it's just if there's any sort of little extra nugget that you want to make sure that your team of people know or are aware of. For me, it's really important about people communicating what's going on and why, because I got sick, 13 years ago now, and ended up being in the hospital for a month, and it was a little traumatizing. And I didn't realize how much emotion would be brought up until I did my hospital, the hospital tour. I haven't thought about I mean, I think about it because it was a big part of my life, but I don't really super think about it just because I never get sick. I haven't been in the hospital since. So when we took the tour, I didn't realize how much emotion that would bring up. And it was almost like a PTSD type thing. So what I'm getting at is this care and communication preferences I added in that section. Due to prior hospitalization, patient may experience increased anxiety, request trauma-informed consent-based care with clear explanations. I don't want them to just start doing stuff. I want to know what's going on. I want to be able to make informed decisions. Because the last time I was in the hospital, I was obviously in my 20s. I was probably like 22 or 23. I didn't realize how much I could ask and probably be more informed about. People just were doing things and it was very scary. So that's just like a tidbit that if you have any sort of thing like that, you can add in that area. So I hope this was helpful. This feels like this might be a long video because that was a lot to go through, but I'll link the downloads for you, so if you want to use any of them, you can. They'll be there for you. And if you're having a baby, good luck with everything. Sending you love and light and all the good stuff, and got this. And I will see you in my next video. Bye.